This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, great, Council. It's good to see everyone here tonight. And we do have regrets from Councillor Drago Stefanik. He will not be joining us this evening. So to start our meeting off on the hour and on time, if I can get a mover and a seconder to open the meeting. Moved by Councillor Peter Kistemaker, second by Councillor Belinda Kistemaker. Be it resolved that we do call this regular meeting of Council to order on Wednesday, March 8th, 2023 at 6 p.m. If there's no objection, we'll continue. And Councillor Belinda Kistemaker, if you could do our Indigenous land acknowledgement, please.
The Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne would like to begin by respectfully acknowledging that the land on which we gather here today is the Treaty 9, 1905-1906 territory, the traditional lands of Indigenous peoples. As we work towards reconciliation, may we all live with respect on this land and live in peace and friendship with all its diverse peoples.
Thank you, Councillor Kistemaker. Item number 3 is review and note of any changes to the agenda. We do have 3 additions to the agenda tonight. 3.1 is the attachment to the 2023 budget timelines to the Client Service Manager's Treasurer's Report. And 3.2 is the attachment of Bylaw 1731, Schedule A for the Flypoint Broadband Agreement, and that's for item 9.1. And item 3.3 is added as item 9.13 is the Algoma District, the Algoma District Services Administration discussion for ADSAB. And if Council is in agreement with those approvals or those amendments, if we can get an approval to pass the agenda as amended. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Belinda Kistemaker, second by Councillor Ted Sheneman. Be it resolved that Council does hereby approve the agenda as amended, and I will put that to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
And that is carried, none opposed. Item number 5 is disclosure, declaration of pecuniary interest and declaration of conflict of interest. I don't have any paperwork right now, Council, that, but if at any time throughout the meeting such a situation arises, you can do that as well. Item number 6, adoption of the minutes, is 6.1, the adoption of the regular council meeting minutes of February 7th. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Ted Sheneman, second by Councillor Belinda Kistemaker. Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of Hornepayne does hereby adopt the minutes of the regular meeting of Council held on Tuesday, February 7th, 2023, as distributed. Is there any comment on those minutes? I do have one comment. I realized this evening I was late attending this meeting and there's no indication in the minutes as I was traveling that day caught in a snowstorm on my way to Ottawa for FCM. So I think that needs to be noted, and I could get my arrival times, I think, by the recording.
Thank you for catching that, Mayor Fort. We'll make the amendments, and I believe we have the times noted as well.
Okay, and just one further on that, I'm just not sure. I was the residing chair at the duration of the rest of the meeting, so I think I can pass or sign all those resolutions that I did at the beginning, just to double check that.
Okay, yes, we will look into that.
Okay, thank you. Item number 6.2, or sorry, and if there's no further comment, Council, for those minutes, I'll put them to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
And that is carried. 6.2, the adoption of the special meeting minutes from February 15th. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please.
I'll move it.
Councillor Peter Kistemaker, second by Councillor Belinda Kistemaker. Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby adopt the minutes of the special meeting of Council held on Wednesday, February 15th, 2023, as distributed. Is there any comment on those minutes? There being none, I put that to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
And that's passed. Carried, none opposed. 6.3 is the adoption of the regular council meeting minutes of February 22nd. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Belinda Kistemaker, second by Councillor Ted Sheneman. Be it resolved, the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby adopt the minutes of the regular meeting of council held on Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023, as distributed. Any comment on those minutes? There being none, I put those to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
And that is carried, none opposed. I just like to notify council at this time, I have not been well today, and I have been struggling with allergies over the last few days or a few weeks now. And if throughout the meeting, if I do need to excuse myself, I have contacted Deputy Councillor Mayor Belinda Kistemaker to take over the meeting. Okay, carrying on, we have item number 7, business arising from the minutes. This was an item we asked to be placed on the next meeting so that we can have discussion and any questions to the Economic Development Officer on this proposal and the deliverables. So I open the floor for questions for council. Good evening, Stacy. Did you want to add anything to the report that was created?
For Jen's report?
Yeah, or any additional information that you have?
So the current red program is going well. We did get an extension to September 2023. So if you guys have any specific questions about the deliverables, I'm willing to answer them.
Okay, great. Council, are there any questions? I know I have one. I just wanted to see where we were at. The list was a bit extensive when we were looking. I'm looking at page 3 of Jennifer's report, and I was just wondering, do we be able to complete that by the September 23rd, or sorry, 2023 extension?
Yeah, we believe that we'll be able to well, the only thing that is iffy is the rebranding, so it'll depend on how many contractors we get for the rebranding exercise, but everything else is on target to be finished by the September deadline.
Okay, and the rebranding exercise, we put that out for RFP?
Yeah, so that's going to go in the next week. It's just an internal review before it goes out, and we'll send it out to the contractors and put it online.
Okay, are we able to extend that portion? Like if we're not done our rebranding, can it go beyond 2023 if it, or September 2023 if it's already been contracted?
Yes.
Yeah, we can. Okay, that seems like a short timeline for rebranding. You
Yes.
remember the days when we did the rebranding back with the HGDC? That was not going to be done in 4 months.
That's right.
Okay, great. That's good news. Those are all the questions that I have. If there's no further questions, then we can carry on. And thank you, Stacy, for answering.
You're welcome.
Okay, moving on to item number 8, the departmental reports. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Ted Sheneman and second by Peter Kistemaker. Is that all right, Peter?
Yes.
Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby acknowledge receipt of the departmental reports provided at the regular meeting of council held on Wednesday, March 8th, 2023. And our first report is the CAO clerk report. And Eileen, do you have any additions to your report before I open the floor to council questions?
I don't have any additions. I also I forgot to mention at the beginning of the meeting that Melissa Chenier is unwell and not attending this meeting or unable to attend this meeting. So just in advance, I can try to answer any questions if anybody has any for her reports as well.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I open up the floor for question or comment for Eileen's report.
I'm good.
You're good. Thank you, Councillor Kistemaker. Peter? I do have a couple of questions. Well, Councillor Belinda Kistemaker, you're unmuted. I was wondering if you had a question.
I'm good.
Okay. I'm just looking at the strategic plan updates, the biannual service review. I'm just wondering when we'll receive this at council.
I am aiming to get it on for the March 22nd council meeting.
Okay, thank you. I had, for the major projects in the CIP, I had sent you an email from Municipal Wayfinders. David had given us information on brownfields. And I'm just wondering, I didn't realize we were still discussing in the background. Is that able to be incorporated into the CIP at all? Or did we have that in the CIP?
I have forwarded the document that you had sent to me to the Economic Development Officer. I believe that we're past the point where we can provide that input, but Stacy, if I can ask you to maybe add some information or speak to this if you have any further information.
So the CIP was at final draft, so it's already went to MMAH for comment. So if council wants to include something, then we would probably have to amend it and then send it back to MMAH.
Okay, through Eileen to Stacy, did we have anything in the CIP for brownfield, just to remind me?
No, we don't.
Okay.
And I think the consideration on that was just funding. We did include the whole township as a CIP area. So if we wanted to add that, because we have funding in the future, we can.
Oh, okay. So it shouldn't be a difficult addition then into the future?
Nope.
Okay, great. Okay, and I was just wondering, on the Canada Infrastructure Program about the change of scope, are we going to be entertaining JL Richards in the future?
Mayor Ford, if you could just clarify it, do you mean continuing with JLR or JLR, sorry?
Yeah, JL, is it? Yeah, JL Richards.
Yeah, JL Richards. Yes.
Just
Well,
back in,
sorry, go ahead.
just to clarify, the question was back in December. We had talked about them possibly back at our meeting at the end of January, and I was just wondering where that's at.
At this point, our main focus is working with the ISAP advisor to submit the scope change because there is a 5 to 6 month possible. It can take 5 to 6 months to get it in and then get it approved. And we are in discussions with JLR. They're aware that we're going to be submitting the scope change. So they're just kind of sitting tight with us, and we'll come back to council when needed.
Okay, I just need some clarification on that because I thought we were moving forward with JL Richards and the work what we were doing because we're already paying for that work.
So until we confirm the scope change and like we can't technically work, we can't work on anything that's going to fall within the scope change. So we've expressed this to JLR, and they are they've advised that they're good with waiting until we can confirm it because we need to sort out the details before we can advise JLR what they can proceed with.
Okay. Okay, that's all my questions. Thank you. Any further questions from council? Okay, I'm not seeing any. Thank you, Eileen. And we'll go to the client service manager's report. Any questions for Eileen to pass on to Melissa?
I'm good.
Thank you. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions. I just thinking we're going to, just a clarification, I'm assuming we're going to have a council resolution to set those budget dates in the next meeting, I guess.
Mayor for it. I'm just going to, I'm trying to confirm that right now.
Okay.
So from what I can see, just based on the treasurer's budget timelines, most of these are set at the regular meetings. So that I don't a resolution needed.
Okay, thank you. If there's no further questions, we'll move on to the Public Works Manager's report. Hello, Dwayne.
Oh,
Do you have any additions to your report before I open up the floor for questions?
no additions to that report, other than I'd like to inform you guys, we have another water break repairing tomorrow morning.
Okay, is that, so are you, is the folks at the Public Works repairing that, Dwayne?
No, we won't be able to break through the frost. We have to use Villeneuve on this one.
Yeah, okay. And they were able to, you said it'd be repaired tomorrow?
Yep, locates were done tonight. Villeneuve will be on site tomorrow, 8 a.m.
Okay, thank you for that. Any further questions for Dwayne's report?
No, I'm good.
Thank you, Councillor Kistemaker. I just wanted to say thank you, Dwayne, for the extra work that you've done to get the hybrid meetings up and running along with Jen Hill. I only know this because I started holding regular office hours at the town hall and saw you there working. So thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, if there's no further questions, then thank you, Dwayne, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, those are all the manager's reports. I'll put the motion to a vote to acknowledge receipt of the report. Those in favor?
Aye.
And that's carried and opposed. Okay, item 9.1 is the Hornepayne Flypoint network upgrade. Eileen, did you want to speak to this at all before I open up for discussion?
Sure, I can just let council, or wanted to let council know that this proposal from Flypoint is essentially they're proposing an upgrade to the Flypoint network in the community. The work that they're proposing involves an upgrade of internet distribution and backhaul facilities, which is now in the area of the township office building. Some of the equipment is installed, currently some of the equipment is installed on the roof on a tripod type mount, which is considered inadequate for the upgraded equipment that they're proposing. So to remedy the situation, they're saying that a new and more robust antenna mounting arrangement, along with an with associated outdoor equipment cabinet, is being proposed. And they also reiterated that none of the costs would be passed on to the township for the equipment, materials, and installation services associated with the upgrade. And essentially, they're wanting to upgrade the existing antenna and electronic equipment, mounting access arrangement, and yeah, that's what essentially what the proposal is about.
Okay, thank you for that, Eileen. I open up the floor for discussion from council. I wanna-
That's probably long overdue.
Yes, for sure. I agree, Peter. I want to say thanks to Flypoint for the very thorough proposal and for the upgrades to the internet service. And that we'll be removing that most of the equipment out of the downstairs office into that locked cabinet outside. So I guess the first question, Council, are we seeking an increase to the monthly rent? The original agreement had a 3-by-5 foot space within our facility that we were renting. It will be put outside to a bigger space. And the proposal does assure safety. They do carry liability, so that's good.
I would keep it the same.
Status quo, okay. Okay, do you need a resolution, Eileen, so that you can negotiate a new contract to indicate the areas, the new areas of the agreement for rental?
I believe we will. I'm just waiting. Sorry, I'm just trying to get confirmation from the deputy clerk as well.
Okay, that's fine. It can come to our next meeting if you need that resolution.
That would be great. Yes, we'll get that onto the next, the March 22nd meeting then.
Okay, great. Okay, if there's no more further comments on that, and I leave that up to you as well, Eileen, if there's anything that comes up as you're going through the agreement and constructing the new one, that you're welcome to bring that back as well.
Okay, sounds good. And I also wanted to mention that we can hopefully bring it back with a draft agreement from Flypoint, because they had mentioned, you know, if council is agreeable to this, that they can prepare a new agreement document for council's review.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so if there's no further work on that item, we're on 9.2, the Northwestern Ontario Municipal Association call for nominations for the offices of President and Executive Vice President. Is there any comments or questions on this item? If not, I'll move on to 9.3 is the Phenom Executive Awards, the Executive Award nomination form. I personally didn't have anyone to nominate at this time. Okay, and if there's no nominations from council, I think we can move on. 9.4 is the Ministry of Natural Resources, MNRF, Public Lands Act, the registry proposal. Did you want to speak to this at all, Eileen, before I open up for questions or comment from council?
I don't have anything further to add to this one.
Okay, thank you. Council, I did attend the session 1 today from 10 to 11:30. This is very interesting changes to the public lands registry. I would encourage anyone that's available on March 20th from 2 to 3:30 to entertain the session. The session itself was quite short in the sense of it was about 30 minutes or 35 minutes. But there was a whole slew of, the rest of the time was questions, and it was there was about 85 of our colleagues on the call today talking about it. And so they're changing the length of time that you can camp, where you can camp, movable devices on the lakes, what's available on the lakes, like the houseboats and different things, and what qualifies for a houseboat. it got quite heated at one point in the conversation about some of the areas down in Georgian Bay in that area where I guess this is becoming prevalent. But I do think there are areas in our, for our areas about the camping, the different changes to camping. So you're welcome to take that session in, and they were really good about, you just email the public.lands@ontario.ca, and they were really good about getting the link back very quickly. So, and then there is the review of the proposal, which you have until April the 11th to provide feedback. Okay, if there's no further comments on that, and the question to council, are we looking as a council to provide feedback to for these changes as a group? And if we are, we can defer to the 22nd meeting to gather your thoughts for those changes. Councillor Sheneman, you're in agreement with that? Yes, okay. Okay, so that gives, okay, thank you, Peter. So that gives you time to, those of you that wish to participate in the March 20th session, or you can look up the different information online about this, the proposed changes, that the links in the document are there. And at our next council meeting on the 22nd, we'll gather those thoughts into one, one submission. Okay, if there's no further discussion on that, and Eileen, before we move on, do you need any further information from that one?
Nope, that's good. Thank you, Mayor, for it.
Okay, 9.4 is the Northeastern Ontario Municipal Association's letter of support. And I'll just speak to this, that this came up at the NEOMA meeting that Eileen and I attended for the AGM for the Northeastern Ontario Municipal Association, which was well attended. I was glad to see everybody there. And Eileen got to meet some new people, I think, as well. And especially their very energetic younger CIO, Jimmy Cote. We were laughing because he was stating himself as the youngest, I think, in Ontario. We have yet to certify that. But anyway, I thought this was appropriate for us to also support them in this venture, because we want to see more food being grown in our area and along that corridor as well. It helps us. So I'll get a mover and a seconder for the motion. If I can get a move by Councillor Belinda Kistemaker, second by Councillor Ted Sheneman. Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby direct the CAO clerk to submit a letter of support in principle regarding the Northeastern Ontario Community Network agricultural project. If there's no further comments or questions, I'll put that to a vote. Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
That is carried, none opposed. Okay, 9.6 is the Ontario Clean Water Annual Report. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Belinda Kistemaker, second by Councillor
I'll second it.
Peter Kistemaker. Be it resolved that Council does hereby acknowledge receipt of the 2022 Section 11 Annual Report and the 2022 Schedule 22 Annual Report for the Township of Hornepayne Drinking Water System as prepared by the Ontario Clean Water Agency, Aqua. Is there any comments or questions on the report?
I'm good.
Okay. Excuse me. I would like to highlight that there was some, I believe there were some answers to the questions I had before about the above rate capacity. So if there's no further questions or comments, I'll put that to a vote to acknowledge receipt. Those in favor?
Aye.
And that's carried. 9.7. This is the organic waste sludge, sewage sludge disposal site. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Belinda Kistemaker, second by Councillor Ted Sheneman. Be it resolved that the council does hereby acknowledge receipt of the 2022 annual monitoring report for the processed organic waste sludge sewage sludge disposal site as prepared by Pension Limited. And is there any questions or comments on that report? And there was no unusual findings in any of the, oh, go ahead, Councillor Kistemaker. Belinda?
I was just wondering, I was kind of confused on the conclusions and recommendations. Like, what was there anything that we had to take care of, or is everything good there? Or I was hoping someone could clarify that for me.
Okay, great. Eileen, I leave that question to you.
I don't have an answer. Sorry, Councillor Belinda Kistemaker, do you mind repeating what your question was? You wanted to know.
Just the bottom line, like, is there anything that has to be done there that has to be upgraded, fixed, or are we in a good position? I wasn't too sure.
From what I understood, there wasn't anything that was outstanding from these reports. Usually the individual that supplies them, I believe he usually states if there's anything that's outstanding, but that is something that I can confirm with him, and if there's anything I can get back to council or let council know.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay, if there's no further questions, I'll put that acknowledge receipt of that report to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
And that's carried, none opposed. Item 9.1 is the annual triggering and compliance report. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor
Move it.
Peter Kistemaker, second by Councillor Belinda Kistemaker. Be it resolved that council does hereby acknowledge receipt of the 2022 annual triggering and compliance summary report for the Hornepayne active waste disposal site as prepared by Pension Limited. And is there any questions or comments on that report?
I'm good.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Okay, if there's no comments or questions, I'll put that report acknowledging receipt of that report to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
And that's carried. We have a support resolution for school board elections. If I can get a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Belinda Kistemaker, second by Councillor Ted Sheneman. Whereas council received correspondence from the town of Petrolia requesting that school boards become responsible for conducting their own trustee elections, or at minimum municipalities be compensated by school boards for overseeing such trustee elections. And whereas council agrees that an extensive amount of resources, time, and management to advertise, coordinate, and complete these trustee elections is placed on the municipality. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby support the town of Petrolia's request that school boards become responsible for conducting their own trustee elections, or at a minimum, municipalities be compensated by the school boards for overseeing such trustee elections. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the town of Petrolia, the Honorable Stephen Lecce, Minister of Education, MPP Michael Mantha, and the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, AMO. Any comment or discussion on that motion? I do have a comment on this motion. I just think about the downplay, like it playing out, not the downplay, like how it would be done in our community. We have 3 different school boards in our community, and it's all the same taxpayer that pays for all this. And I think it might add extra cost to everyone to be doing their own elections. I have no problem supporting the resolution if we were to amend it to value us. When I think about conducting their own trustee elections, I would see compensating municipalities for their part would be beneficial, but I do leave this up to council if we want to defer or support this. But I just know within our own schools that there could be, we'd end up conducting, I believe there would be 4 elections at one time during that same time with all different resources. I don't even know if our community would be able to handle it. Any further comment or questions from council on this? I would like to note too that I don't, oh, Councillor Ted Sheneman, sorry, I didn't see your hand. It's only white on my screen this time. Go ahead, Councillor.
Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor. I totally agree with you that I think in our instance, this is probably the status quo is good. I can see the changes in the larger municipalities that have that, but I believe we're fine with the status quo.
Okay, thank you for that, Councillor Sheneman. And I was just about to say that I'm not, I've always been in small Northern Ontario towns, so I don't know how this affects bigger centers. But for us, I think it would be an extra strain for all of our organizations. Councillor Kistemaker, go ahead.
I
Belinda.
have to agree with both of you. I can see that being another burden.
Okay, I wonder what type of direction can we take with this motion, Eileen? Can we defer it or not even pass it, or?
If council is agreeable, we can remove the school boards become responsible for conducting their own trustee elections, or at minimum, and just change such to there. So sorry, it would read, I'm just trying to go back. Sorry, one sec. So sorry, it could be that we request that municipalities be compensated by the school boards for overseeing their trustee elections.
Okay, so we're in the there before resolved portion.
Yes, sorry, in the 3rd paragraph, I believe it is. Yeah,
so,
therefore it be resolved.
okay, so that the council of the corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby support the town of Petrolia's request that school boards
That,
add a
sorry, that
go ahead.
municipalities. So take out the school, like just request that municipalities be compensated by the school boards for overseeing their trustee elections.
Okay, so we've taken out hereby all the way to municipalities. That whole portion would be deleted.
Yes.
Okay. Does that sound suitable to council?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Okay. Oh, go ahead, Eileen. That's fine.
Sorry, I'm just going to get the deputy clerk to clarify. Or never mind. Okay.
Okay. So do we need clarification on some? I'm
Sorry, no, I'll just clarify so we can move ahead with the one that I just said.
okay. Okay. And I don't think there's any further need to reread the entire resolution. We've had our discussion and heard the CAO's recommendation, and I put that to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
And that's carried. Okay, 9.10 is the Hornepayne Minor Hockey Association. So I received this letter and I sent it off to Eileen for agenda. I did have a meeting, actually, a phone conversation with Patricia about minor hockey. I was really excited. I have to say that minor hockey is doing really well in our community. There's over 60 children participating. She did reach out to me that in this letter, they're asking for support for U7 and U9. She did tell me that U7 has been canceled and U9 is continuing, and they have 36 children playing in that, I guess, day tournament, I think is what they're calling it. Jamboree, day jamboree. So they're looking for donorship. They're looking for donation or sponsorship. Do you have any further comments on this, Eileen?
Nope, I have nothing further to add.
Okay. So I think they are looking for items for a loot bag. Do we have any items that we could be placing in the loot bags for them?
I can check to see if we have anything at the office.
Okay. And are we looking at donating to Hornepayne Minor Hockey? And there's a few donation requests here. There's 3 on the list for monetary. And I guess one question we have to find out is, our council advertising and public relations, how much money we actually have there?
Sorry, just give me a second, Mayor Ford. I'm just going to grab that info.
Yeah, no problem. We just, I know in the past when we've done donations, we've always tried to not set a precedence and keep it similar. And if we've donated to something, we usually try and support it again.
So sorry, Mayor Ford, to just clarify, you're looking for previous donations for the curling club?
Well, we have 3 donations that are listed. We're just have direction on what we've given in the past or what we should be donating, because we have the curling club and then the other one as well.
Mm-hmm. So I was just going to mention for the curling club, I've checked with the treasurer, and in the past 5 years, the council hasn't donated any money to the curling club. In fact, the curling club used to donate the money back to the township at the end of their curling season. The last donation they received was from the curling club was $1,000 in 2016. But regardless, previous council donations for similar kind of donation requests varied in the range from 150 to 500 to up to 1,000.
Okay. And do we know the amount that's going to be allotted to council advertising and public relations?
I don't have that amount. I don't have that information, unfortunately,
Okay.
right now.
Okay, thank you. I'm at your discretion, council, on for 9.10 for the request for a donation. And they're asking to agree by sponsor. I think we could probably just change that to donate if we want to just have a monetary figure there.
I think it should be a monetary, and whatever we do for one, we do for the other two.
Okay, that's I agree with you, Peter. Councillor Kistemaker Belinda, go ahead.
I agree with what Pete said, or Councillor Kistemaker.
Okay, in light of not quite fully aware of where our budget amount is at that, do we want to keep it at a minimal for now at 150 or 200 each, at something like that, and then that would max out to 600 for the three of them?
I'm good with 200 each.
200 each, okay. I'm seeing consensus there on that. Ted, Councillor Shannon, that's okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so if we can put the first motion on the floor, moved by Councillor
I'll move it.
Peter Kistemaker, second by Councillor Belinda Kistemaker. Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby agree to sponsor the Hornepayne Minor Hockey Association Jamboree to be held on March. I think we'd have to take the 11th date off of there because it's been canceled for that date, to March 25th, 2022, the amount of $200. And if council, be it further resolved that the funds will be expensed to council advertising and public relations. Can I put that to a vote? Those in favor?
Aye.
And that is carried. None opposed. The 9/11 is the curling club. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Belinda Kistemaker, second by Councillor Ted Sheneman. Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby agree to donate $200 to be expensed from the council advertising and public relations account to the C&D Paul Curling Club for their open end of season Bondsfield to be held on March 31st to April 2nd, 2023. And those in favor?
Aye.
And there's none opposed. That is carried. 9/11 is the Legion Ladies Auxiliary and Kids Sport donation request. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor
I'll move it.
Peter Kistemaker, second by Councillor Ted Sheneman. Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby agree to donate $200 to be expensed from the Council Advertising and Public Relations account to the Legion Ladies Auxiliary in partnership with Kids Sport for the 2023 Northern Ontario Fish Derby for Mental Health, which is held from January 1st to March 26, 2023. And those in favor?
Aye.
And that is carried. None opposed. Okay, and item 9.3 is the Algoma District Services Administrative Board discussion. So I've had 2 meetings plus a finance committee meeting with the ADSAB, and just some upcoming news from ADSAB is we will be looking at the Constitution. It's enclosed here as it reads right now with Council's package. And in light that we didn't get this on the agenda for your preview, I would like if comments for the 22nd for any upgrades that you'd see to the Constitution, anything that you think would fit for our community. And then, and if we can have that discussion of those main points at that time. And if there's any questions from council right now, I will take questions. And you'll notice on the email, I have the second action item was the ADSAB working group of the CAOs of each community and the mayors of each community to just discuss and have a roundtable for this after each council has discussed. And I reached out to Councillor Belinda Kistemaker, our last ADSAB rep, a couple of times about this, and trying to ensure that we get an overall voice heard for our area. So thank you, Belinda, for your help and encouragement. So if if that's good with council, we can defer that discussion to the 22nd. Do I have consensus on that? Yes. Okay. Okay, moving on then, we have 10.1 is the correspondence information only package. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Belinda Kistemaker, second by Councillor Ted Sheneman. Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby acknowledge receipt of the correspondence information only package attached to the agenda of the regular meeting of Council held on Wednesday, March 8th, 2023. And I open up the floor for any discussion or comment on these information only item pieces. I do want to speak to 10.2. And I regret that our treasurer and client service manager is not here this evening, but for the sake of the public, I would like to ensure that we acknowledge. Today is International Women's Day. It's a special day for all women in Hornepayne and across the world. It is only fitting on this day and hopefully adds to the happiness of Melissa Chenier, our treasurer client service manager, that the Township of Hornepayne congratulates Ms. Chenier on her outstanding achievement in completing the AMTCO's Diploma in Municipal Administration with honors. This tremendous accomplishment is regarded with pride by the Township of Hornepayne. To graduate from this diploma, Ms. Chenier has successfully completed the 4 elements: Municipal Administration Program, Municipal Accounting and Finance Program, Municipal Law Program, and Employment Law and Human Resources Certificate Program for municipalities. Ms. Chenier has been presented a bouquet of flowers on her achievement from Mayor and Council in the recognition of this tremendous achievement, which is significant on its own, but Ms. Chenier has done this while maintaining her workload within our municipality. So congratulations, Melissa, and we'll be ensured to congratulate you again in person. So thank you. I just wanted to highlight there for 10.2. And also, if you'll see on 10.3, we had Councillor Stefanik be certified from the fire protection, Essential Municipal Fire Protection. Okay. And I did want to add, just to highlight for Council's viewing for 10.8, the FCM conference for Sustainable Communities information that was added, and 10.9 for the plugins for the electric cars. I think this might be something that we could apply to next year, and it's all free of charge for our community. It might be a nice addition to our pavilion area. So have a look at those 2 items. And if there's any further comments, Councillor, sorry, Eileen, CIO Eileen, go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to add, I know I've only been here for a short amount of time, but I wanted to add to just congratulating the treasurer, Melissa Chenier, on her accomplishment on behalf of the staff as well. And I think we're all so proud of her, and we're so lucky to have her on our team. So congratulations again, Melissa. Great.
Thank you, Eileen. Okay, if there's no further comments, I'll put that acknowledge receipt of the correspondence information only package to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
And that is carried, none opposed. Okay, item number 11 is the committee and board updates. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Ted Shannon. Second by, you're okay to second, Councillor Peter Kister?
Yes, ma'am.
Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby acknowledge receipt of the board and committee meeting minutes attached to the agenda of the regular meeting of council held on Wednesday, March 8th, 2023. And first, I'd like to acknowledge, thank you, Jen, for Jen Hill, our deputy clerk, for putting this all in one motion. You'll recall, council, we used to do several motions. Any comments on those minutes?
I'm good.
You're good? Okay, thank you, Peter. I would like to congratulate from council that A. Stinson is the chair, Kay Bucknell is the vice chair, and C. Kelly is the treasurer of our Hornepayne Public Library Board. And I thank those individuals for standing up and taking leadership positions for our community. And I did have one question from the NFLCC meeting minutes. And I believe, Belinda, are you the rep on that committee, Councillor Kistemaker?
Yes.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I was just noticing in the minutes that the MNRF was wondering if our council meetings are still overlapping with the LCC meetings. And I didn't know what their regular date was.
Their meetings are on the Tuesday, and it was the same time as our, when we're okay now. We're just fine.
Okay, we're all right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I just didn't want you not to be able to make your meetings if that was happening. Okay, perfect. That was the only questions that I had from those minutes or comments. Okay, if there's no further comments or questions, I put the acknowledged receipt of those board and committee meeting minutes to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
And that is carried, none opposed. And 11.2 is our council committee updates. And I open the floor to councillors for the areas that they're committed to beyond our council table. Councillor Kistemaker, go ahead. Belinda.
I don't have anything at this time.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Peter Kistemaker.
I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Ted Cheneman.
Again, the hospital committee, the concern again is now we have a second house to be able to house. So now we're looking at co-ed, where some of the staff that are brought in, agency staff, have requested co-ed. So that's sort of throwing another little loop into it. So we're still requiring more accommodation, and still the predominantly the use of agency nurses is certainly taking a major hit on the budget.
Okay, just for clarification, when you say co-ed, so that's people coming to our community
Yes.
that want to live in the same place?
Yes, the agency nurses and PSWs who are brought in having difficulties having male and female at Happy House or that. So now they're doing some renovations to the second purchased house or the purchased house across from the hospital to try to make it, to keep everybody content.
Okay, yes. Okay, thank you for that update. I know we have an upcoming recruitment team meeting with the hospital and the rest of the other organizations. I believe that's on the 20th. I have to double check, but anyway, it is coming up later this month. Okay, I gave a full report in the information only of the meetings that I've attended. I do have a few meetings coming up over the next few days, especially looking in further into the Green Municipal Fund for our community. And I did make a suggestion to council that after we're done our strategic planning, that we possibly look at having direction to the staff to develop a full report on the funding envelopes that are available through this funding. And I would bring that back to council. I believe we would put it as a notice of motion. Eileen, I can't remember the conversation we had about this. I apologize, back in a week or so ago now. But I think I'll bring it back. I think the conversation went that I bring it back as a notice of motion for council at that time. Are you recalling similar, Eileen? I'm sorry, it's
I believe that's correct.
okay.
I vaguely, yes, I think that's correct.
Okay, we'll make sure and get it to council in the appropriate manner. But it's nothing that we need to concern ourselves with until after our strategic planning. And I just want to give an update as well, just for Ontario Good Roads Association, that the conference is going really well, all the planning in the background. I think we're on our 4th hotel, so it's going to be quite a big conference. And they actually have part of the conference is going to be held off-site right next door to the Royal York at the Union Station. So I think people are getting revved up for meeting back in person, which is good. I'm looking forward to attending this conference with our Public Works Manager and Deputy Clerk. And we have had the opportunity for other Public Works Managers have actually reached out to be connected. So I had a chat with Dwayne about that, and look forward to getting them connected. And the other, there was one other meeting that I wanted to highlight. Oh yes, today being International Women's Day, as I had alluded to last meeting, that the Mayor of Timmins and myself have invited all the mayors to Northern Ontario Women's Caucus. And we've set the first meeting date for that in March the 29th, virtually over lunch. And basically what we're hoping to do is create a terms of reference and create an executive committee so that it's another avenue for advocacy for people in Northern Ontario. All of our communities are affected by disparities when it comes to attracting women to Northern Ontario. So both Michelle and I and many of the mayors we had talked to in the background felt the same way. So we're hoping to have that set up, and I'll bring a further update to council on April meeting. And moving on then, if there's no further comments or questions, is 12 to new and other business is 12.1 to set a special meeting for the 2023 budget deliberations and open discussion and presentation of strategic plan. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Ted Sheneman, second by Councillor Belinda Kistemaker. Be it resolved that the Council Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby set a special meeting at Council on Thursday, May 4th, 2023 at 6 p.m. in a virtual meeting room for Council deliberations on the 2023 budget, followed by an open public discussion and presentation of the final strategic plan from municipal government wayfinders. Is there any question or comment on that motion? The only question I had was originally we were looking at the 26th of April, and I was just wondering the shift, the date change.
We wanted to include both the budget and the strategic plan in one, and I believe it worked out better. Well, for the timeline with the budget timeline, May 4th was a better pick. And then we had to confirm with municipal government wayfinders that they were okay for the move from the 26th to the 4th, and that worked for them as well. So we're hoping that this new proposed date works for council as well.
Okay, so I put it out to council. Is this date work for council? Ted Sheneman, yes. Councillor Kistemaker, Peter?
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Councillor Belinda Kistemaker? Yes, okay. Okay, I put that motion to a vote. Those in favor?
All right.
And that's carried, none opposed. Okay, item 12.2 is the cemetery columbarium. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor
I'll move it.
Peter Kistemaker, second by Councillor Ted Sheneman. Be it resolved that the Council of Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby approve the expenditures for the purchase of a 48 niche columbarium in the amount of $45,000 plus a postage to be expensed from capital reserves. In discussion with Eileen, this was a motion that we had talked about last year and deferred to this year's budget. And I would recommend to council that we defer the resolution until after we've passed our budget. I'm just concerned that we haven't seen our budget yet. And in discussion with Eileen, and Eileen can confirm this, I believe there's 6 to 8 niches available currently, and we have a vault that could accommodate as well. Is that correct? Am I remembering correct from our meeting, Eileen?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So it's up to council's decision, and so I put it open for discussion. And Eileen, sorry, did you want to comment on that at all?
No, I don't have any further comments to add.
I'm okay with waiting until we can actually put it in our budget for the next year.
Thank you, Peter. We may be able to budget for it this year. If just a question, Eileen, I know when we were discussing, it takes about 2 months to get the columbarium ordered. Would that still give us sufficient time to get it put into place for this year? Because that would give us June, July for ordering.
I believe that that is fine. I think that gives us enough time to order it and have it delivered in time.
Okay. Okay. Councillor Kistemaker Belinda, go ahead.
I'm just wondering if it matters. Like if we're doing the budget, so if it can be added into the budget, then let's add it in. If it's going to be an issue, if we find that we have to cut somewhere, maybe can we just maybe look at maybe cutting that? Like, does it really matter? Because we haven't done anything yet and we don't know what the circumstances are yet. Is it something that can be moved around?
Yes, I believe that's what we're trying to do right now, is that if we pass this resolution tonight, we are giving staff direction to order that, so it wouldn't be able to be canceled. If we that's my understanding, correct, Eileen? If we pass this motion, we're saying go ahead and order it, right?
Based on the treasurer's recommendation, she mentioned that hold off on the ordering until council's approved the budget. So we're fine to defer it if council agrees to or would like to defer it until the budget is passed. I believe that is fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
I misunderstood.
No, thank you for that, Councillor. I'd rather be all on the same page just so that we're understanding. And we don't, and this is a sensitive issue too, right? That's in our meetings about discussing what niches are available and that, you know, we compare remains respectfully. So that was all discussed as well. And so, so I think after discussion, we're looking at deferring just so it's included with our budget deliberations. And so I put this up for council vote as a deferral. Those in favor of deferring.
I agree.
Okay, that's carried to defer. Councillor Kistemaker Belinda, did you have a further comment before I move on? No, you're good? Okay. 12.3 is the Leadership Mayor and CAO Training Services Proposal. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Ted Sheneman, second by Councillor.
I'll second it.
Belinda Kistemaker. Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby approve the expenditures to be incurred by Mayor Cheryl Ford and Eileen Singh, CAO Clerk, to participate in the Aspirant Leadership CAO Mayor Relationship Building and Alignment Program. And you can see the proposal there, Council. It's quite thorough. I do want to speak to this. I think it's a very apparent training to be done between a CAO and a counselor, and a mayor. Gail and I did do this training. It was funded through the NWMO back in that time. I am concerned though, and I did voice this to Eileen, that although I think the training is imperative to us, I also am concerned about our upcoming budget because of the amount the training is going to cost, along with the travel. That I do have concerns about that. So I leave it up to council's decision. Eileen, would you like to speak to, you were in the meetings with Jeff as well, would you like to speak to anything about this proposal?
No, I don't have anything further to add, other than I would like to take this training if possible, but of course, it just depends on the funds and council's approval.
Okay, thank you, Eileen. So I open up to discussion for council. Councillor Shellyman, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I see the importance of the training, but I think it would easily make that 10,450 probably closer to a $15,000 training budget by the time travel is throwing in there. So if the budget allows, if we realistically believe, I think it would be great training and very, very valuable. But again, the monetary side, the financial has to be taken a strong look at. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Shellyman. Councillor Kistemaker Belinda, go ahead.
I do believe this is a good learning tool, especially for Elaine. I think she could get a lot out of it. I am scared of the cost, of course, but if both of you gain something from this, I think it would be a real asset. So I don't know.
Is it something that we want to include in the budget and we reach out to Jeff for dates after our budget is passed? I have committed that July and August I wasn't going to travel, but because of the importance for this, I would travel in July or August. My concern is that June I am unable to travel at all. We won't have our budget done until May. So I just want council to know that, because I am already traveling 3 weeks of June for other requirements. And I know Eileen has a bit of unavailable time in that slot as well. So if that's something that council would like to do that way, we could address it that way as well.
I would agree with that. That's a good idea.
Okay, so I'll move then that we move to defer. Or sorry, we move to defer. I put the resolution up for vote to defer until after our budget I cannot talk, council. I'm sorry. Until after budget. If those in favor to defer the motion. Okay, that's carried. Peter, you had already said yes to defer?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Okay, and I know that Jeff's been really accommodating with us, and he knows that it had to go through council, so I'm sure he'd be give us some available times in July or August when we solidify that we actually have the funding for it. Eileen, do you need any more information for that point before I move on? 12.3.
No, I think I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to 12.4, the draft comprehensive user fees charges bylaw. So this was the direction that was given to the treasurer client service manager for the implementation of our user fees and services comprehensive review. Did you want to speak to this at all, Eileen?
I just wanted to advise council that the draft comprehensive user fees and service charges bylaw is on there. That's the first one by the consultant, sorry, Hemson. And then the bylaws listed underneath, those are the Schedule A's will be repealed. Should council choose to pass or agree with this bylaw, the draft bylaw.
Okay, so is there going to be a timeline for council to look at the draft bylaw? What is our proposed process to bring this about?
Mayor Ford, we can do, if council would like, a week or two of comments via email, and then we can either bring it back at the 22nd meeting or April 5th.
Okay, if there's enough time for comments between now and the 22nd, and then the draft presented at the 22nd, and then we can pass it at the 5th. Does that work?
I think you would if council is able to give comments by, it would be less than a week if that works for council, if you would like to get it on for the 22nd.
It's no concern to me either way. I'm more concerned that the treasurer has all the information she needs to inform the budget. If that's what, I think that was part of the reasoning of the past. I'm just looking at my calendar there, council. Okay, so would it be permissible to give council until the 14th? March 14th?
Yes, that would work.
Okay, if council, you can have till March 14th to review the bylaw and put any changes or comments to the bylaw through email. And which email would you like those sent to, Eileen?
I believe they should probably go to Melissa, so her treasurer@hornepayne.ca.
Okay, treasurer@hornepayne.ca. Okay. And do we have to have open comment for this bylaw too? If we do, we can work that into the meetings. I think I recall Melissa saying that at some point. There's no need to answer right now, Eileen. You can check it out in the background, and we can put it to one of those. You can set it up that that you need to see fit.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, council. So you have till Tuesday to have question or comment on that. Okay, moving on to 12.5, we have the draft management vacation policy. Okay, and we did do the, or I'll open up the floor for Eileen to speak to this.
So yes, so we had the municipal lawyer amend the draft management vacation policy, which is now attached here for council's review. And we've also attached the bylaw 1320 and the union agreement, which staff or managers currently follow. So I had sent council, I advised council, sorry, I'm just trying to find my information. That management follows the QP agreement section 15.02, which indicates when they need to have their vacation requests in by. And then they section, I believe, 1D indicates the vacation entitlement for managers off of bylaw 1320.
Thank you, Eileen. In discussion while we were preparing for the meeting, I had mentioned, Eileen, that it may be suitable to have the management policy off of the QP agreement, to copy the QP agreement, those areas that we do follow, into our management policy, just because management aren't QP employees. And then I noted that in 1320, the schedule for employee benefits, that Eileen just pointed out in section D, the two don't coincide. So I think, Eileen, are you looking for direction on how to put them in the policy?
Now that you've pointed, so Mayor Ford, I agree with that. The two don't coincide, and there needs to be some alignment there. So if council is in agreement, then we can amend the bylaws, so the draft management vacation policy to indicate, we can, sorry, amend the draft management vacation policy and bylaw 1320, section 1D to state the same thing that is stated in the QP agreement.
Okay, okay. Yeah, just ensuring that we're all aligning everything on the same. Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. Any further discussion from council on the vacation policy?
I'm good with it.
Okay. Okay, I think you're getting consensus from council that we'd like to align the policies into one to ensure it's actually a written policy and what we're following, and then to ensure that 1320 aligns with that as well, bylaw 1320. Okay, so that'll come back, I guess, at our next meeting, Eileen?
Yes, we will try to get it back for the 22nd, but we will amend the appropriate section so that everything aligns and it's consistent.
Okay. Okay, thank you. If there's no further comment, we'll move on to 12.6, the Community Development Advisory Committee, CDAC, Terms of Reference, Community Development Advisory Committee. I'm going to move her in a seconder, and then we can open up discussion to discuss. Moved by Councillor Ted Sheneman, second by Councillor Belinda Kistemaker. Be it resolved that the Council, the Corporation, of the Township does hereby approve the attached terms of reference for the Hornepayne Community Development Advisory Committee. So big shout out to Jen Hill and Eileen for doing all the work in the background and bringing these committees into two. I think it's going to be beneficial for our community. So I open up floor for discussion on the terms of reference. And did Eileen or Jennifer want to speak to the terms of reference? I apologize for that. I should have asked right away. Go ahead, Eileen.
I don't have anything further to add, but I cannot take any glory for this. This is Jen's baby. She worked very, very hard on this, so, and did all the research. So thank you so much, Jen, for working on these.
Okay, great. So is there any questions on the terms of reference?
I'm good.
You're good. Thank you, Peter. I'm wondering in the initial terms of reference, because it's our first time creating these committees, that after the first year, we revisit the terms of reference to ensure they're working properly. Was that initially put in here and I missed it, or? I see that it will correspond with the term of council, but I'm not sure if we want to wait till the end of the term. Eileen, go ahead.
I was just going to mention that Jen's going to come over and answer this question for you, Mayor, for it. So
Okay,
if you
great.
wanted, if you could just hold on for a minute.
Yeah, for sure. Hi, Jen. You're on mute. Just a second.
So I was just going to say in the last paragraph on both terms of references, like the last paragraph of the last page, it says that per the chair, the terms of reference can be amended at their discretion, essentially, like can be brought to council for amendment with recommendations. So, and the chair will be a member of council. So instead of like placing it specifically in there that it has to be reviewed within a year, I figured it could be just like the chair could state that in the first meeting and have that known. And then we could bring it back. That way we don't have to amend it afterwards to remove that section, but that it would state like that the chair would state that it would be reviewed afterward.
Okay, I'm good with that. That sounds good. Thank you, Jen. Okay, don't move. There might be more questions. Is there any further questions on that committee? I do have one further question. Is this committee is the one that would have the subcommittee of the Ontario Centre of Ontario on it?
Yeah, the Geographic Center of Ontario subcommittee would be on this one because it's community development.
Okay, so we had a discussion in the meeting that we didn't carry on with the ad hoc committee of the Ontario Centre of Ontario, that there are still standing members. We're looking to council direction on contacting those members to see if they'd like to be part of the subcommittee. And if council's in agreement with that, that was Jen's idea. I think it's a great idea. And that's, you're getting consensus. Peter, you're good with that, to contact the previous members, see if they'd like to be on the subcommittee?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. Well, and of course, they may apply to be on the Folsom committee as well. So, okay, so if there's no further comments or questions for Jen on this committee, we can put the resolution or the motion to vote to approve. Those in favor?
Aye.
And that is carried and opposed. And item number 12.7 is the Operations Advisory Committee. So if I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor.
I'll move it.
Peter Kistemaker, second by Councillor Ted Sheneman. Be it resolved that the Council of Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby approve the attached terms of reference for the Hornepayne Operation Advisory Committee. And I open the floor for a question or comment on this advisory committee. Okay, I'm not seeing any, so I'll put it to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
And that is passed, none opposed. So just a follow up on that for our new committees, so they'll be posted and advertised and set up.
Yes, they will.
Also,
And I'm wondering if we're going to need a resolution to appoint council members at the 22nd meeting.
yes, and we will also need a resolution to rescind the resolutions from the inaugural meeting, appointing them to the original committees. So I will bring those resolutions to the 22nd to appoint them, to allow us to place the, if we need, I'm not positive if we need resolutions to allow us to place the ads. And then resolutions to appoint council members and staff to the new committees. So.
Okay, great. So we'll have some follow up in our 22nd meeting. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so moving on to item 13, there's motion and notice of motions. There being none, we'll move on to the adjournment, the confirmatory bylaw. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor
I'll move it.
Peter Kistemaker, second by Councillor Ted Sheneman. Be it resolved that bylaw number 1987 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at the regular meeting held on Wednesday, March 8th, 2023. Be hereby read a first and second time, be considered read a third time, and finally passed. Those in favor?
Aye.
And that is carried, none opposed. And finally, our adjournment motion, please. Moved by Councillor Belinda Kistemaker, second by Councillor
I'll second it.
Peter Kistemaker. Be it resolved that that council does hereby adjourn this regular meeting of council on Wednesday, March 8th, 2023 at 7:31 p.m. Those in favor?
Aye.
And that is carried. Okay, thank you, council, and I hope everyone has a good, safe evening. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.
Thank you.